Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And a little backstory to where I'm holding this mic. This pollen is kicking my ass. But, you know, Houston just won a game off of straight culture last night. And at the GM Podcast, we have great culture over here. So we're going to push through.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this video for you guys. So, Speaking of Houston and Duke, just give us a game recap. What did you take away from the game last night?
Yeah. So my takeaways from the game is I think Duke is still, I would say they were the better, they are a better team. Yeah. But coaching matters.
Absolutely.
In college basketball. And it matters more than NBA, in my personal opinion. It matters more than, it's where the highest level of coaching is in college basketball. I truly do believe that. And culture wins. And, you know, Duke put together a great 39 minutes.
They did.
An amazing 39 minutes. And you have to be able to finish games. This is no knock on John Shire. He's going to be a great coach. I think he's going to win national championships in the future. Eventually, I think he's going to be a great coach in college basketball and one of the faces of the coaching group in college basketball. But with a minute left, you only have one true point guard on this roster. Caleb Foster has to be in the game. Second of all, you have to be able to get the ball in bounds.
And and
you have said this, that Duke doesn't have a true point guard other than Caleb Foster, and Caleb Foster has to be on the court, and it's true. Yeah. Caleb Foster needed to be on the court at the end of the game. It's just a fact. Caleb Foster, yes, he was 0 for 3, but he was breaking down people the entire game. Absolutely. He was guarding on the defensive end. Caleb Foster needed to play more than he did. All of a sudden, John Shire cuts the lineup. Slim doesn't play all of a sudden at all, like it was the beginning of the season or something.
Yeah.
And Patrick Ngongba did not play.
He just felt confident in Malik Brown, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've been a big advocate of Malik Brown.
Yeah,
but why all of a sudden is he getting all the minutes and taking?
Yeah.
Didn't understand that one. And I didn't think he played bad.
No, but it's just like you throwing a guy who just had to sit the whole tournament for the most part, other than like certain moments.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just throwing him out there like it's not going to work like that. Yeah, I think, like I said, culture wins. The only thing Houston, I feel like they had a better point guard. And they had a better head coach than Duke.
Yeah.
That's the only two positions I could say they were better in. But,
And effort.
Yeah, I mean, effort, like defense. I mean, the last 10.5 minutes, Houston didn't allow a point.
Absolutely.
So that's really my reaction to that game. And I just think, like I said, you have to be able to get the ball in. Yeah. I'm a big advocate for running football play. Yeah. Everybody run a pass pattern.
I don't get why we're not doing that.
Yeah, like I feel like that is the best offensive out of bounds play when you're trying to break a press at the end of the game when you're trying to get fouled. Run an offensive pass pattern. Have your best player run a drag. Have another player get screen and run across the other end. You can run the baseline. I saw Sion James miss Con Kneppel. Con Kneppel had an open ceiling, tries to throw it over. You don't throw it over top in that situation. No. You got to get a seal, and you throw a bounce pass in, catch it, and then you be strong. You don't just throw a lob over top. This isn't football. Like you're leaving in a questionable position. So, I didn't like the end of game execution for Duke, and you know I've seen this multiple times. I saw them do it against North Carolina. I saw them do it against Arizona, and it finally bit.
It's crazy. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought you were crazy this entire time for your take on Duke, but what ended up happening is that in a late game situation, they folded against one of the top teams.
And the ACC being weak hurt Duke as well. Yes. Because Houston's played in games like this. Houston did this exact same thing earlier in the year against Kansas.
Absolutely.
Down 6, steal, three-pointer. Steal, three-pointer. Tie game, they go win in overtime against Kansas. Houston's done this. Teams like Florida, teams like Auburn, they've played elite schedules. They just have. So, honestly, they've been in more tight games. So, I mean, Auburn was 12-13 in one-score games this year. That's impressive. Yeah. And Duke just hasn't done that, you know? They haven't been in close games. They haven't had to win tough games. And that matters to me. Just blowing out teams. Because you're not just going to blow out teams every time in tournament time, playoff, whether it's NBA, no matter what the level is. So, yeah, I think Duke it finally bit them in the tail.
Man, I think you're hiding how happy you are right now, honestly.
Yeah.
But honestly, I also want to touch on the Cooper flag thing. How big of a deal do you think missing that last shot is? And obviously, this entire season, he's been missing those or slipping in late game situations. Do you think that's a big deal moving forward?
So, a lot of NBA greats. First, I just want to say, Cooper flag being not clutch, I don't think that's the narrative we should go with. There's been a lot of players that are extremely clutch. Steph Curry is clutch. Cooper Flag is clutch. They just might not be a last shot taker, where you give them the ball and they go get a bucket. And I don't think Cooper Flag is that. I think he's an all around player. Even LeBron is not known as a last shot taker, giving the ball, get out the way. Now, if he has to, he'll shoot it and make it.
Yeah.
But he's trying to make the best play, and I think with the amount of time left, I do think Duke should have ran their off-ball screen pattern with Con Kneppel and Tyrese Proctor and everybody, and run it like a regular offensive play. And then if Cooper doesn't have it, then he can, reject the whole offense and do his thing. But yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. Yeah. In my personal opinion, I still think he's going to be a great NBA player. He proved me wrong multiple times, and I'm a fan now. Yeah. Especially now he's gone from Duke, or I hope he's gone from Duke.
He better go to the league. Don't come back.
So
bro.
The moment he decides to go into the draft, I'll become a Cooper Flag fan. I think he's going to be.
I feel like if he comes back, there's a world he doesn't go number 1 anymore. Also.
He probably still will, but there is a world where he doesn't. There is a world where he doesn't.
Mansta, Cameron Boozer,
Peterson
joining him, that's I don't know.
Elijah Arenas, yes, bro. But if not, though, that might be one of the greatest draft classes of all time if he were to come back.
And also, I wanted to shout out LJ Cryer for his performance. Obviously, he's the reason they won this game.
Two elite point guard battles.
Yeah, this dude literally. They would have probably got beat by 30 if he wasn't making half the shots he made. And there was a point he was 5 for 7 from 3. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Can't ask for a better performance.
There was a point where he had half their points in the game.
Yeah, he had half their points. That's what you want to see from a big time gamer. And like you said, in the national championship, we got another great point guard matchup. But let's move on to Florida Auburn. What was your biggest takeaway from that game?
Yeah, why is Walter Clayton not a lottery pick?
Yeah,
I've seen time and time again people say Jimmer Fredette, all these guys that have Carson Edwards have great elite playoff runs, but when it comes to the NBA, that they're just blessed. Yeah, I heard that about Steph Curry as well, the kid from Davidson. I'm not saying he's for sure going to be a great player, but I just don't see why he's in. I've seen him at 44 in a mock draft.
I saw that today too. Yeah,
I don't understand that. This guy's an incredible shot maker. And if I'm late first round or towards first round, and I'm the Nuggets, put Jamal Murray at the 2.
Yeah,
let him run the 1. I don't know.
I completely agree, but what I was looking at is what's the best fit?
Yeah.
And like you said, we talk about expansion all the time.
Yes.
I don't see a good fit for Walter Clayton Jr. No. As crazy as that sounds, I'm not saying he can't step into a role and be great.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I think the Miami Heat.
We do this with all players. We try to find a team that they would go to and they would fit in automatically. Maybe the Heat, but Tyler Hero is dominating the ball usage there.
Yeah.
So it's I'm really considering these low tier teams are probably the best teams for Walter Clayton.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't go lottery, 44 is a legit reality for where he could get picked up.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it does not add up to the talent, the shot making, the shooting, yesterday we saw he's playing with great pace, getting downhill still.
Yes.
I know he gets compared to Jamal Murray a lot, but it's for a great reason. He literally plays like Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
And so these last couple of years, you wouldn't think Jamal Murray is the most athletic guy. But early in Jamal Murray's career, he was getting up, punching on guys.
Yes.
So, I don't know, man. I think Walter Clayton, and he is the reason they won that game once again.
Yes.
He kept them in there when Auburn was playing great defense. He was making all the shots. Obviously, they have great pieces around so where he can still contribute. But on the Auburn side, what did you think?
The Auburn side, I thought Janai Broome played well enough to win the game. Not his best performance, but he played fine.
Not in the second half, I wouldn't say, though.
But I still think I didn't think it was, a terrible performance from Janai Broome. I honestly just think that they had the better player in the game.
Yeah.
And, the wings for I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but Elijah Martin and number 5. Will Richard?
Yeah, Will Richard, I think, yeah.
Them two are the reason that they win games. They really
absolutely.
are. You got Howe who can step out and shoot the 3.
Yeah.
You got Cheney Lou and Condon down low. that are playing great
defense. And they started
defense.
frustrating those Auburn bigs late in the game.
And then you got Walter Clayton putting up points. But them on the wings being able to get... It seems like every game, Elijah Martin and Will Richard have iconic steals that turn into points.
Yeah.
Forcing turnovers that turn into points, whether it's turning into a fast break three, and Elijah Martin dunk. I mean, that's what gets his team going. That's what gets gets them the momentum.
Absolutely.
I thought he jumped from the free throw line that one time on the dunk. Like, he's extremely athletic. Then he caught a body on Chad Baker.
I talked to you yesterday. Like, why can he not be an NBA prospect? That's strictly a defender.
Yeah, like
and an athlete.
If he could get a catch and shoot, I don't know why, and get a little bit bigger. I don't know why he can't be another team's Lou Dort, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why he can't, but yeah, I think a lot of the NBA is just in a weird spot, like you said, where other than Cooper Flag. Maybe next year, DeBanza and Boozer, players of that high caliber.
Yeah.
Those are the only players that I can say for sure, they're coming in and they're starting. Because it's just hard for me to say that on the simple fact that Reed Sheppard, number 3 pick.
Yeah.
He's in the G League a lot this year. I mean, I don't know where, but I'm trying to think, like, there's a world where Dylan Harper were to go to the Spurs, not start.
That would be so insane to me too.
Like, there's just certain players that are so elite, but if they go to certain teams, they just won't start.
And I think last year there's a good excuse for it because obviously the draft class wasn't as great.
Yeah.
But this year, if that happens, we need to have some real discussions.
Yes.
Like, expansion needs to happen.
Yes.
And then they push it to like 2027 or 2028 or something like that.
Yeah, they pushed it again.
See,
they were supposed to have it in 2026. I think it's LeBron's fault. I think they want LeBron to be the owner of that Vegas team.
Yeah.
And the longer LeBron keeps pushing back up, like,
he might be playing for another. For the way he's playing right now, we don't know when he's going to retire either. Yeah. So that's not great.
So I mean, to be honest, I just think that. I mean, imagine. The Pistons were just 2 and they started out 2 and 26, but they were terrible last year.
Yeah,
the Pistons were terrible last year. Imagine if the Pistons got the number 2 pick this year, like they had the same type of year. That's a terrible team. Or imagine if Dylan Harper was in the last draft.
Yeah,
just coming off the bench, just Cade Cunningham.
Exactly,
Cade Cunningham, starting point guard on the worst team in the league last year. Like,
and
the league is so talented. The league is so talented. You can't pinpoint a team and be like, that player can go in it. Cooper Flag is that good where there's certain teams who'll go in and be the man, but
there's not a team that you can say like they don't have a quality guy. Though.
Yes.
Like the Jazz, you talk about Lauri Markkanen.
Yes.
Who's an elite player that a lot of championship teams will want.
Yes.
Charlotte, LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
And they're not winning games.
Yeah.
Washington, Alex Sarr, Jordan Poole. Yeah. Like, come on.
And I think, it's good for an NBA product from a certain perspective. Like, no matter what team, no matter what city you go to, there is going to be a guy that you're there to see now.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side, it almost hurts some of these up-and-coming talents.
Yeah.
And they're not panning out simply because confidence, and they're just starting out almost in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
So,
also, one last thing I wanted to throw in there. Todd Pettiford played horrible.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you have young guards trying to run your team in the second half. It was a bad second half for Auburn, in my opinion. Yeah. All right, moving on. We have Russell Westbrook, talking about Russell Westbrook some, coming off a week where he absolutely sold his team twice.
Yeah.
With missed layups against the Spurs and, I'm blanking, who was it? The Timberwolves.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, when Russell Westbrook's career is over, what will be the narrative on his career?
Yeah. So I think he's an all-time great point guard. I think, stat stuffing machine.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I just don't think his game translates to winning, and I don't think he's a winning basketball player. That doesn't mean that I'm taking away he's won games in this league. He's been to an NBA Finals. It's not that he can't win, but there's a certain combination of, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka. There's certain players that, a lot of people would win with. And it's not a knock. And this is one of the elite talents in NBA history and athletic guards. I mean, a lot of my friends growing up, not me personally, but a lot of my friends and people, my peers, like, your favorite player was Westbrook.
My favorite player was Westbrook.
Your favorite player is Westbrook growing up. If you like, that's just, it was the thing. It was almost how people looked at John Morant a year or two ago.
Absolutely.
And we'll get into that later in this video, but I just don't think Russell Westbrook's game translates to winning.
Yeah.
And I say this because time and time again, He has great nights. He has great stats, whatever. But you didn't need to shoot that layup on the fast break against the Timberwolves.
No.
You could have just pulled it out. They have to foul you, or you give it to a better free throw shooter. They have to foul you. You're going home with the dub.
Yeah.
Unless the Timberwolves come down and make a crazy three. But they're probably not.
Yeah.
So then you come down, you foul a 3-point shooter at the end of a game. And yes, you did foul him.
And he was lost in transition as well because he wanted to stand under the rim just in disbelief that he missed a layup.
Exactly. So, once again, Russell Westbrook is an all-time talent, and I'm not taking away from that. One of the greatest basketball players we've ever seen, a top 75 player. But it has to be noted that time and time again that he hasn't made winning plays.
No.
He's made elite plays. He's made very athletic, talented plays. He's made electric plays, but he hasn't made winning plays. The best version I've seen of Russell Westbrook has maybe been when he was on the Clippers with Ty Lue, playing really hard, playing defense. Not the best player, but the most winning form of him, I feel like.
I wouldn't say that. I think the talent kind of outweighs.
I mean, the talent, yes. But I'm talking about, I didn't see him. I don't know how to put it.
Like, he would still make winning plays because of his talent.
Yes,
like, there was too much of a talent differential. Like, OKC. So you're saying winning.
Yes.
I see what
it's not, obviously, OKC is the best version of Russell Westbrook. That's not even close. But my point is, like, I've seen time and time again when Russell gets too ball dominant or the ball in his hands too much that he just, time and time again, he doesn't make winning plays. He doesn't make it happen, I feel like.
All you have to do is look at his playoff numbers.
Yes.
As far as shooting splits, low 20s in 3-point percentage, 30s in field goal. Man, I hate the fact that it's like this because, once again, this is one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
But it's hard to watch. And when you rank him as a top 10 point guard of all time, you have to ask some of the point guards in this era, would you take them to win basketball games over Russell Westbrook?
Kyrie Irving, I'm taking him.
Let me give you something. And you can answer all of these.
Yes.
Chris Paul.
Yep.
Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Damian Lillard.
Yep.
Stephen Curry.
Yep.
John Wall.
Maybe.
John Morant.
Yes, in the playoffs, what I've seen so far.
Like, there are a lot of point guards that, I'm sorry,
when it comes to a playoff game, I'm taking them if I want to win a game for my champion, for my squad. It's just a fact.
And once again, this is like, it hurts to say, I am a Russell Westbrook fan. I don't like bringing people down. And Russell Westbrook has an immense defense group media-wise to where they will defend him if he does the worst thing possible on the basketball court. But I like to keep it realistic. And, man, I do hope and pray that this postseason he makes winning plays and Denver can maybe make a stretch where he does do something special.
Yes.
But right now, the narrative on his career is that he has never done that.
Yeah.
And it's a guy that you would want your kids to watch as far as effort.
Yes.
Playing the game hard. Like, that could be his legacy. But as far as winning, once again, that's not it.
Yep.
So, man, I am really praying for Russell Westbrook to have a stretch here where he goes off.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I've never seen a player, you rank him all time, he's probably high. But if you're taking winning basketball players, there might be 100 in the league you would take over him right now.
Yes.
And that's crazy to think about, in my opinion.
Yes.
Absolutely crazy. So, you move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
All right. Let's talk about John Morant. Okay. So, John Morant, 2 straight games. Golden State Warriors, end of game, they're getting busted. Once again, all these Western teams are in playoff contention for like the same 3 seeds.
Yes.
So he does the gun thing at Buddy Hield, blah blah. And
he goes to Miami.
Next night goes to Miami, does the same thing. It's a game winner.
Yep.
I just want to know, what is your frustration with John Morant right now?
My frustration is, and I work a lot of basketball camps over the summer, and growing up, everyone's favorite player growing up, like I just said, was Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Curry lovers, everyone loved Curry. But one thing I'll give Curry is he's a man of God. He's a married man, and he doesn't have a lot of moments where he's using a lot of bad language. And in the public eye, he has been a great example of a father and all of these things that I want. If I had a son, I would want my son's favorite player. Not want, but I would be fine with him wearing some Steph Curry stuff or wanting to be like Steph Curry one day.
Yeah.
While I see people we're looking for a new NBA face. I see people talking about Anthony Edwards. I see people talking about Ja Morant. And this is why I think I might start rooting for Cooper Flagg, possibly, depending on, obviously, I have to get to know him more.
Yeah.
But there's, whether Ja Morant is really like this or not,
yeah,
it's the image you're putting out there.
Absolutely.
Ja Morant, this could not even be him. He could, off the court, off the camera, whatever, off Instagram Live, be actually like the greatest person. And I don't know. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
But it matters about your image because you have so much impact on the kids. And, you know, I used to see kids at these basketball camps that I work, you know, do what Curry did or throw up the three. And, you know, now I'm at basketball camps and people are like pointing, and it's just
after threes
are pointing guns. And, you know, I want to defend Ja Morant this once. He's not the only person to do this. I've seen Mikal Bridges do
like
this.
This is not the only guy.
He's not the only guy, but with you being the best player to do it, and a face that you were on the verge of, like, people were talking about you being face of the league.
Yes.
You just have to be better because there's kids that really are looking up to players like you. Anthony Edwards, there's players that are really looking up to you. And I'm not here to judge, you know, I'm not, like, my language isn't perfect either, but I will say that in an interview or this or whatever, you do have to, I feel like, be better if you want to be one of the faces of the NBA.
There's a certain class that you have to carry yourself with and not have to, because Anthony Edwards and Ja have done it. So who am I to really tell them what they have to do?
Exactly.
But there's a special reality to post-game interviews and it being classy and actually explaining the game.
Yes.
Instead of straight up getting up there and LaMelo's the same way.
Yes.
And blatantly and cursing for no reason.
Exactly.
Now sometimes curse words, in my opinion, and once again, we struggle with no one has perfect language, or people have perfect language, but not me. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And when you look at this, curse words should be something that are used to really enunciate something, like a moment where something really needs to be pushed across, like maybe an emotional moment. But it seems like they literally like just throw it out there in front of the kids. And once again, like you said, these are the players that are going to have the biggest impacts. And LaMelo Ball probably has one of the biggest impacts
on the youth
out of all the players in the league right now. But his play doesn't, line up to his impact.
Right.
But another thing, Ja, you made your bed.
Yes.
All these other, you just pointed out, Mikal Bridges doing the that. You're the one who got on IG Live, or your friend.
Yeah.
You chose your circle, and you caused this issue for yourself.
Yep. So
now you can't. It gives me a sense to where it's like, well, all these people have been talking trash about me. They've been really hating on me. They don't want to see me win. Bro, I can't even begin to tell you how many people want to see Ja Morant win.
Yeah.
I haven't met anybody that doesn't like Ja Morant as a basketball player.
No.
Like, let's keep it real. But he is causing these things. And like you said, I mean, LeBron and Steph, we couldn't have asked for better role models as basketball players.
No, we were spoiled.
Absolutely. And maybe that's what it is. Like, we were just spoiled with these players, so now we're acting like this. But Ja, LaMelo Ball, we got to start taking some pride. And like you said, that's why we root for players, or we're going to start rooting for players like Wemby, Cooper Flagg, even Jason Tatum. But what I also started to notice is that in the past, we've had stars that bring electricity and they bring class at the same time.
Yes.
Nowadays, it's one side.
Yes.
If Ant is on the court, he's bringing electricity, but the class thing ain't. I mean, he just paid 1.8 to his baby mama for an 18-year contract.
Yeah.
Ja Morant, electric. But that's it.
Yeah.
Like, no class. And even in the Warriors game, Stephen Curry is looking at him like disappointed in a way, because all of these older guys in the league right now want to see him win as well. And when you do stuff like that, it's like, damn, the league and the league don't even want you to do it. The league, if he had got suspended for this, would people have been surprised?
No.
But they only gave him a $75K fine.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they are showing a lot of grace to a guy that maybe doesn't deserve it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard ask to just not do that. And I thought you would have learned a lesson. Absolutely. And once again, we're not coming for the guy that he is.
No.
Because this is an innocent man. He doesn't have anything on his record. Like, there's nothing we can...
Well,
Well, I mean, he had a gun. That's fine. People have guns.
Right.
But
and there was I don't know if he was proven guilty. But
with the fighting.
But still, regardless though, it's more of, you can be off the camera But when you're in the public eye and you're a top NBA player and you're the face of, at least I can say, that franchise.
Yeah.
And you are a possible future face of the NBA. You have to be better in public. You just have to. It's a known thing. Like, you're supposed to be PR trained, all these things. Like, you have to be better in public.
Absolutely.
In public, you have to carry yourself differently than you would chilling around your house with your homies. It's just how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're a high school athlete around your hometown area, you're just held to a higher standard in public, and that's just a fact.
Absolutely.
For any athlete. All the way down. I mean, us as high school athletes, being examples to the youth and
absolutely, you got to think about that stuff.
Exactly. It's the same thing to the NBA or college, but even on a higher level. So I think John Morant has to hold himself, and the people around him have to tell him he has to be better, at least in the public eye.
Absolutely. And once again, to defend him, we live in an age where these athletes are just going to get more and more scrutinized.
Yeah.
Because of podcasts like these, honestly. I mean, who gave us the right to talk sports, right? But that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are doing that. And they're seeing this stuff. Like, John's seeing this stuff. And seeing this stuff about him just being hated on. And I'm seeing the vibe is kind of turning to it like, man, I don't care, man. I'm just trying to hoop. Like I'm hearing so much criticism that it might become numb to them. Yeah. Or maybe they just try to prove them as wrong as well.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get from this. But man, once again, I just hope he
can turn it around.
He can turn it around because he can legitimately be. I don't think you were as high on him at first as I was.
Yeah.
But I legitimately thought like the Grizzlies could have been a championship contending team if they had carried on. But obviously that suspension put them way behind the 8 ball, and you don't see that anymore.
Yeah. No, not at all. And my thing as well is it's just like I said, it's just extremely frustrating.
And another thing that I wanted to go along with, the RWE thing that we were talking about the other day.
Yes.
This is what kids are watching for you on YouTube.
Yes.
This is their basketball content.
Yes. And it's influence.
And we talk about Ant, we talk about LaMelo, we talk about Ja. I would say they're having even a better influence than that is.
Yes.
And I don't even want to call this, and once I've told you this before, I'm not blaming Cam Walter for this RWE stuff. Like, he's getting paid doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen Cam Walter on the bench in late games try to actually coach these kids because sometimes it just turns into a wild, like, it's not basketball anymore.
Right.
But the other day, I mean, I talked to you about this. I saw a clip to where, the 6'7" trend.
Yeah.
And a kid does it in the crowd.
Yeah.
A trend that was popularized within the RWE. And RWE's Instagram page takes it upon themselves to clown the kid.
Yeah.
For supporting something that they do.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now.
Yes.
And when we keep moving on with this stuff, we do have to really sit down and think, are we becoming numb to some of the stuff that social media is bringing us? With the guns, like, is this something that in 2005 people would have noticed? Like, people would have definitely noticed that more.
Yes.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like as we continue to go and a lot of this social media stuff is more prevalent, we become numb to certain things that should be completely wrong.
Yes.
But instead we have questions because even in RWE games, they're doing this after every 3-point jumper.
Yes.
Bro, I've got it pointed to my head after I've got a 3 hit after me.
Yeah.
So it's like it happens all the time. And I don't think it's ever, once again, it's not no disrespectful stuff.
No.
It don't mean you really got a gun. It don't mean you really do that.
I just think that basketball has turned in certain the RWE culture, you can say. I could just say with last summer seeing, you dunk on somebody and the whole crowd comes over to a kid and does this on his head. The basketball was meant to be a competitive sport that brings people together. Not to sound corny, but it was. It's supposed to be a competitive game where you're trying to win and I'm trying to win and we battle it out. And then after the game, it's respect.
Yes.
You won, I lost, whatever. Like, you got the best of me today, whatever. And the AAU culture has turned into, I'm trying to embarrass you. Social media has, I'm trying to embarrass that person. And that's not what basketball is about.
No.
And especially maybe, there's nothing wrong with me as a player wanting to embarrassing the person across from me, but fans should never be trying to embarrass one of the players on the court. That's not what your place is. Your place is to cheer for one team or sit there and truly enjoy the game of basketball. Like, I'm cool with you cheering for one team. I'm cool with you even, like, not rooting for the other team, like hoping they do bad.
Or trash. Even trash talking a team.
Exactly. But But fans should not be trying to embarrass the whole culture of doing this over people's head when they get dunked.
That's so corny, bro.
It's corny. And who are you? Like, who? It's literally, and RWS started it or has boosted it, but you have 8-year-olds that like thinks it's okay to run onto a 17U game and just do this over a kid, like, bro.
And this isn't even RW. This is AAU.
Yes.
This is AAU where there are refs put in place to keep this game, and they can't control that. And it's not Thanos, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America lined up as the referees.
No.
They can't control all these kids coming out and doing this.
No.
I'm telling you, my thing is, I'm not saying that these kids are wrong. I'm not saying that anything is like wrong with what these people are doing in individual instances, but I will say, if we become numb to these things and we continue to become numb, it will just continue, and we will end up in a place.
Well, the problem is it's also being promoted as a funny this. It's not that. And when we get to that point where we're asking, like, when is it really wrong? It's going to be like, where did we go wrong? Well, it's here. It's right now. Like we're witnessing it. Yes. Where basketball is going in the United States. It's crazy to me that the next 2 draft classes are loaded with United States prospects. So that's good. Yes.
But at the same time, we got to do better. Like, we got to do better.
Yes. And like, I mean, just put it to you like this. Like, I've been dunked on plenty of times, like in high school and college practice. I always just took the ball out.
Yeah.
And it was never a problem for me. It was 2 points. 2 points were scored on me, just like if a layup was scored on me.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I would feel even personally as a humble athlete. A whole bunch of 20 different people. I'm swinging.
I get,
and I'm not. That's not even me.
No, I get so confused because
that's not even me.
Because that's an attack. Like, you can legitimately feel threatened.
Yes.
By 10 dudes coming up to you and doing this. Like, bro, I am surprised that I haven't seen more people swing in those situations. And props to those guys that they don't, because violence is never the answer. That's not what I'm preaching.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's like a safety thing in my opinion. Like, that's like,
yeah.
And once again, we're doing that, and I'll take this to a basketball standpoint. At least they jumped. At least these defenders are showing the effort to think that they can block shots.
I mean, if you look at the best shot blockers in the NBA, they get dunked on. They get dunked. Chet, Wemby, like all of the best shot blockers, they get dunked on because they actually contest shots.
Bro, Chet has been getting dunked on. Chet has been getting dunked on since I learned about him the first time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like,
no, it's 2 points.
But that's not what you're taught nowadays.
Because if you didn't jump, it was an open shot.
Because if you get embarrassed nowadays, that's what you take away from it.
Yes.
It's not the fact that you tried to play defense. It's the fact that you got embarrassed.
There's people that there's basketball players who are 25 years old, 30 years old, have played since they were 8, and I never got dunked on. Like, that's kind of sad.
No, that is. Like,
it's kind of sad.
And me personally, I've never been dunked on because I'm not jumping like I'm about to. Like, I'm not going to get a vertical contest like that. So, but at a certain point, like, once again, it's not a flex, but I've been crossed. Yeah. Because I play defense. Like, you got to be in those situations. If you don't get crossed or dunked on, at least by, let's say, freshman year of college, you haven't been playing defense, bro. Like, that's straight up what it is. Like, that should be what the message is. Yeah. But instead, the message is if you get dunked on or crossed up, you're on social media, you blowing up, and now you're embarrassed. And that's a lot of people who are seeing this, especially RWE. Yeah. And you don't know the impact that has on a 10-year-old kid who's still trying to develop their ego. Yeah. Like, that could set them back years. Like, you really don't know. Like, this, you don't. Even mental health, as far as them being, if they were already hurt before that. Like, it's that deep, in my opinion.
100%.
And, hopefully that does get better. And hopefully Ja takes it upon himself to be a better example than he has been. And once again, I don't think he's a bad dude, but yeah. All right, so moving on. Stephen Curry and the Warriors just beat their two, probably the closest seeding to them, Lakers and Nuggets. Curry averaged around 37 points in both of those games. I just want to know, what is your outlook on the Warriors right now? Do you think they're the best team in the West?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I do. Come playoff time, and this is no disrespect to the Thunder, and kind of not to the extent I just said with Duke. I shouldn't have even compared it, but I am worried about OKC's still lack of experience and lack of playing close games, and they're just that good in the regular season and the way they're built to where they haven't played in many close games. All their wins, 50 of their 64 wins have been double digits. And like I said with the Warriors, they're going to always have the best shooter on the court. Probably the best, probably not necessarily every game, but probably the best clutch player in Jimmy Butler on the court when it comes clutch time. And probably most of the time the best defender on the court.
Yeah.
In Draymond Green. And experience as well. So when you add all of that and you have, very talented guys that aren't asked to do a whole bunch in, Kuminga and Pods hitting a couple shots and players doing stuff like that and they're role players and hopefully Gary Payne Jr. can come back. Yeah. They can really make it out the West. They really can. And I don't know if they will, but if Jimmy and Curry and everyone stays healthy, they're going to be a tough team to beat in 7 games because, like I just said, they're going to have the best shooter on the court.
Yeah.
They're going to have the best clutch player, and they're going to have the best defender on the court. And, yeah, it's just going to be a hard team to beat in 7 games come playoff time.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I wouldn't say they could beat OKC just yet. I like how we match up as far as us guarding them. As far as and if the Warriors are going to be put, and I do think they're contenders now, but if they're going to be put as favorites for me, I have to know that Pods is really going to be shooting like this during the playoffs. And I'm not saying he can't, but he is their X factor. And if he is shooting like this, I'm not going to lie, they might win a chip. Like, not even on no win the West stuff. They might win a chip. Like, this is an elite, like I said, an elite 3 guys. And then if he's shooting like that, Moody can shoot from the corner. Kuminga coming off the bench. That's an elite squad. I just think the West this year, once we said this a million times, it's so matchup based.
Yeah.
Like watching the Lakers game the other night, they can't guard. They cannot guard the Warriors.
No.
Because everyone on the Warriors can drive, is an elite driver. And if you have Luka on the court, it doesn't matter. And you don't have any rim protection if you're the Lakers. So the shot blocking doesn't matter. All guys that can get to the rim. So I'm scared for the Lakers. But the crazy thing about it is, I think the Lakers could beat OKC, and they probably would. Just based on the fact that OKC, Lou Dort can guard one of those guys. But after that, LeBron and Luka is going to get off.
And even when Lou Dort's guarding him in the NBA, better offense is just like Lou Dort. Bring the ball to the court. He can in driving. He can make a lot of impact. But when Luka gets to the step back, defense is irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of is he going to hit it that night or not. And if he's hitting that night, it doesn't matter if you put it doesn't matter who you put on him. And that's just like when they're hitting shots like they're playing the Lakers. They beat them today. When Reeves, Braun, Luka, when they're hitting shots, especially Reeves and Luka, when they're going, there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah. I'm interested to see who the Rockets play in the first series.
Yeah.
Whether that's the Clippers or if they play the Clippers or the Grizzlies, or if Timberwolves fall to 7, that could easily happen as well. Mm-hmm. But whoever gets to play the Rockets in that second round should be the favorite.
Yeah.
To win the West. Even Denver, who hasn't had Jamal Murray in a long time. But I honestly hate Denver. I just can't get right with Denver this year. Aaron Gordon, once again, we've talked about him. He's developed into a spectacular. He's a shooter now. Like, he can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr., this is still an elite squad that you can't count them out because they have Nikola Jokic on their team.
Yeah, you can't.
And Nikola Jokic, I'm sorry. I know we've been talking about we have to have uncomfortable situations. I am now comfortable saying that Nikola Jokic is the greatest offensive force that has ever touched the basketball, graced the NBA court.
Yeah.
And it's honestly like, you could call that crazy, but how is that
Yeah. No,
there's no way. I've never been so scared of playing a basketball player.
Yeah.
To where if you double him, he's gonna make the right read.
No matter if that player's in the opposite corner, it's zipped.
Bro,
to
him. It doesn't matter.
There's not a play.
If you single cover him, he's scoring over you like that. He has all the post moves in the book. And if you sag off, he's shooting more than 40% from 3.
Yes.
You cannot say that about any other player in NBA history ever. There is not a scheme, a defensive set that you can run to get this guy off of his game. So you have to have them as contenders. This is the greatest offensive force ever. It's not uncomfortable for me to say anymore. It's just what it is.
Yeah, no.
So
it's facts.
You have to consider that, and
that's why I said what I said when I said Jokic is the best scorer in the NBA. Obviously, the cool answer and the fan answer is Shea. Because he gets to the mid, he's tough, he can get to the foul line, whatever. But it might not look the prettiest, but if I need a bucket, I'm going to Jokic out of anyone in the league. I'm sorry. if I want an assist, I'm going like he's the best passer in the league, he's the best scorer in the league, and he's a top 3 rebounder. You can say he's the best rebounder in the league. I've never said that about any player in NBA history.
No.
Of all 3 of those categories,
you have to have those conversations, bro. 61, 10, and 10 the other.
Yes, and he's on the. You cannot tell me that if Jokic was not in one of these big market teams with good, bro, you cannot tell me that if Jokic was on the Thunder. And I'm not even trying. It's not a knock on Shea, but if Jokic had this roster construction around him, it's raps for the West.
Yes, absolutely.
It's raps for the West. It's raps for the Celtics. It's raps for any team out the East. I'm sorry, like he's literally the best player in basketball. Now I still think Shai's my MVP because it comes down to storyline, like you said.
Yeah, and
it comes down to what his team is. Double-digit more wins than the team in second.
It's incredible. Even though they're getting busted by the Lakers.
Shai's the MVP. So. But Jokic is the best basketball player, and I'm willing to debate that with anybody because I don't know what. Like, he's just not. Like, Shai's a second. He's a stamp second.
And I don't even think Jokic has been having a great defensive season at all.
Sorry. Shai is a stamp second.
Yeah.
The only way that Shai cannot be stamped second is I think if Luka beats him again, then it's like, all right, he beat him twice.
I think
as of right now, I think Shai is stamped second.
Yeah.
Because you can't find a hole in what Shai did last year against Luka.
No.
So for right now, Shai is stamped second, and it is a gap.
Yeah.
And then it's Jokic. It's a gap, and then it's Jokic as the best player in the entire world.
You're saying, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I thought you were talking about from 2 to 3. Yeah.
Why not?
I'm talking about.
I know. What's third?
The third best.
What's the third best player in NBA? What's the
you think there's a gap from 2 to 3?
Who's the third best player in NBA?
Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Like that's not really. I wouldn't call that a gap with him and SGA. You could argue Luka.
Yeah. I don't. It's hard. Luka's defense makes it hard for me to.
He's going to be hard to rank for the rest of his career.
Like how many players in the NBA? 450.
Yeah.
If he was the 300th best defender, he would be a top 10 player all time.
Yes. But he's instead
450.
You said 450?
Yeah.
It's probably around 446. And honestly, I haven't watched anybody play worse defense.
I'm not gonna lie, he might be
maybe the worst. Rob Dillingham is under him just because of his size.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, Luka might be the worst defender in the G League if he went right now.
Absolutely. Like this, it is. I'm telling you,
it's bad.
The Warriors they could really abuse that mismatch.
Oh my! Like Curry switch.
And there's gonna be a lot of series in this first round. No one is gonna want. I know they'll probably beat them. But no one in those top 4 seeds wants to see the Timberwolves.
No
one wants to see it, and I know you think.
And that's the thing that the Mavs could do, and the Lakers are still going to do now. And you can do it against certain teams. You can even do it. The Thunder, throw them on Dort.
Yeah.
Or you put them on these, less talented offensive players, but the Warriors, the Celtics, shoot. Unless if they go small ball, DeAndre Hunter at the 4 and Mobley at the 5.
Yeah.
There is not a lineup. In a lot of these teams, there's lineups as some of these. Luka can't pick out a weakness.
No,
because all 5 players on the court would cook him.
Yeah,
so
that's. I think he would be fine against the Nuggets, which is what the Lakers are beating the Nuggets this year if they play in the playoffs. Here, that's.
I think.
I'm gonna just be real. So you're saying the only team that the Warriors and the Celtics he can't hide is what you're saying.
Yeah,
I agree with that honestly, and
the only reason that if Shai gets the MVP, if Jokic were to and he's not going to. His team is just so bad to me.
They're horrible.
I think they're bad.
No, I think they're a bad basketball team. I agree.
If Jokic were to go to a conference finals, just go to a conference finals.
We're playoff rounds?
We're talking about one of the greatest seasons in NBA history.
Yes, I agree.
Like a top 5 season ever.
Yeah. I think it's funny. A lot of these players, I think every single team in the West, if you get to the Western Conference Finals, it's low-key a win.
Yeah.
Even the Thunder. If you get there, that means you were in the second round last year. That means you progressed. Yeah. And I'm honestly okay with in this West, you have to be okay with that. Especially when you're going against LeBron, Jokic, and Curry.
I think it depends who you lose to.
Yeah, and my thing is I'm scared. Once again, I also don't think teams want to see a healthy Kawhi. And he's probably not going to be healthy by that time. Something's going to happen. Something is going to happen. But if God blesses us with a Kawhi Leonard playoff series, he's winning at least 2 games.
Yeah.
I don't care who he plays. He's
probably
winning at least
first 2.
Bro, and I hope it's not the Thunder.
Yeah.
It's looking like it's going to be the Rockets, and if it's the Rockets, You don't think the Clippers are winning that playoff series?
No, they are if Kawhi's healthy.
And then the Clippers are playing Bron. Bro, I'm telling you how it's all going to be matchup based.
Once again.
And people don't know how it's going to lock because now.
Because last year the Nuggets would have beat the Mavericks.
Absolutely. Yes, they wouldn't. Because who's guarding Jokic in that one?
No.
And 3-8, everyone is still fighting for the 3-8 seeds.
Yep.
And right now it's not a thing to where like, well, if we get to this seed, we get to play this team. No, it's like you have to win these games.
Yes.
Or you're going to drop. And that if you're not tuned into the Western Conference right now, you have to. The Rockets are playing the best teams in the West right now for their whole rest of the season. I think the Lakers still got the Lakers play OKC again tomorrow after we just got busted. I don't think the games really matter with OKC now.
And the Rockets, Ime Udoka needs his props.
Yes.
Ime Udoka needs his props as a top 5 coach in the NBA.
Absolutely. Yes.
He just does.
100%. Top 5, yes.
And he gives culture as well. And you don't see that a lot in NBA with coaches. You see a lot of managing personalities. No, he has a culture that he's built. When the Boston Celtics swept KD and Kyrie, and we were the best defensive team in the league, now he's done it, and he's brought it to the Rockets, where there's just this sense of grit, and he's embraced Dylan Brooks like no other organization would, and
absolutely,
you love to see it.
Man, both Houston basketball organizations right now, probably with the best culture in basketball, if we were to argue. But I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. We will be posting once again very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.